The woman you're dating doesn't exist. The woman you're living with, maybe even the woman you married, she doesn't exist. You probably only know the version of her curated to keep her safe from judgment. You know the professional, the mother, the good girl, the manager. You see the mask, the persona. It's like a hologram projected onto the woman who lives deep inside the one you see. But locked in the deepest corners of her psyche is a secret chamber. I call it Pandora's box. Inside that box are her primal needs. I call this aspect of her feminine psyche her archetypal sexual signature. This is where the feminine archetypes that deeply resonate with her as a complex sexual being live. This is where her darkest desires for submission or dominance live. They are the parts of her society and religion have shamed into hiding. She rarely, if ever, reveals these aspects of herself in her relationships because she doesn't feel completely safe. If she reveals them to a toxic guy, he finds a way to use it against her in ways that are painful. If she reveals it to a nice guy, he tends to get uncomfortable and doesn't know what to do, or he throws water on that fire and it feels like judgment to her. Most men die without ever seeing what's inside Pandora's box. But if you engineer the key, you don't just secure a partner. You become the only man in her reality who actually knows her. Because you are the only man who has unlocked the deepest parts of her. Here is a truth that took me years of research, practice, and adapting to decode. A woman's capacity for pleasure, deviance, and loyalty is functionally infinite. It's not limited by her biology. It's bottlenecked by psychology. It's locked behind the mental gatekeepers of shame and conditioning. Most dating coaches fall into the red pill, blue pill, black pill, white pill BS. They give you a checklist of tricks or lines that you're supposed to use to make her desire you based on the spectrum of colored pill BS they've swallowed. That is an operational flaw. It's one perspective thinking. It's seeing a part and believing it is the whole. It's like seeing a small cluster of trees and believing you have an accurate understanding of the entire forest. You don't need lines and tricks to create desire because the desire is already a roaring fire. It's just trapped behind a steel door. Your job isn't to build the fire. Your job is to unlock the vault. When I was trapped in the nice guy paradigm, constrained by the rituals of institutional religion and societal expectations, I believed that if I was the right kind of nice or good or polite, she would be attracted to me. I thought I was being virtuous. I wasn't. I was being harmless. And for a woman, harmless doesn't work. When I was a bad boy, I didn't care whether I hurt women as long as I got what I needed. But when I broke away from the conditioning of those limited views about women and myself and became a man of frame, I realized the absolute magic of attraction is ignited by a balance of danger and safety. It is filled with polarity, tension, and mystery. Women need a man who is dangerous and intriguing. And by this, I don't mean that he becomes a danger to her or that he brings her into dangerous situations. I mean a man who has made peace with his shadow and doesn't care what she or anyone else thinks about him, who he is, and what he does. But women also need a man who is safe, but not harmless. By this, I mean that through the dangerous aspects of himself, he knows how to invite her shadow in a way that is compelling and intriguing. But in that place, he also provides an enormous amount of safety. This means he doesn't judge, shame, criticize, or condemn her, nor does he turn her vulnerability against her once she has offered it. When she knows these two things about a man, she feels safe enough, even though he is dangerous. She feels safe enough to finally, and for many, perhaps for the first time in their lives, open Pandora's box to him. So, how do you open her Pandora's box? You don't pry it open. That's what the bad boy tries to do. You don't ask for permission. That's what the nice guy tries to do. You pass her tests. You engineer a container of such absolute non-reaction, safety, and judgment that she willingly hands you the key. You become the liberator. But before a woman hands you this key, she is hardwired to test your frame. Over the course of time, she offers 4 primary tests. The first test is the challenge test. This usually happens when you're dating. She says things to challenge your frame. She wants to see if you are genuinely confident and secure. If you react, you fail the test. If you don't react and demonstrate that you are secure enough that you don't care if she disapproves, her validation is not important to you, you are self-validating, you pass the test. The second test is the storm test. This usually comes when you're in a relationship with her. The storm test is when she blames you for something, accuses you of something, throws her emotional storm your way. If you react by apologizing or trying to explain yourself or trying to fix the situation or arguing with her or walking away in anger, you fail the test. She needs to know that she can bring her storm without you reacting. When you're able to resist reacting and invite her into positive connection, you pass the test. The third test is the siren song test. This is where she love bombs you or shows you validation or tries to seduce you when she's trying to get her way. This is, in essence, a manipulation test. Can she manipulate you into doing what she wants you to do? If you turn away from your own conviction, your own values, or your own needs to do what she wants, you fail the test. She'll be happy in the moment, but she'll lose respect, attraction, and desire for you. If you stand in your conviction, even if she gets angry, pouty, or upset, you pass the test, and she grows in attraction, respect, and desire for you. The fourth test is what I call the invitation test. Most men never even see this test because they never pass the previous three. When she is convinced that your frame is strong enough to contain her chaos, she gives you the invitation test. The invitation test is when she gives you a peek into her Pandora's box, her shadow, to determine if you're the kind of container that can invite her shadow in a way that is not judgmental or anxious. This is how she deploys the invitation test. She drops a prompt. This prompt will usually be wrapped in plausible deniability to keep her safe. If you don't react, if you hold the space, she steps closer. She reveals a little bit more. And instead of judging her or laughing nervously or pulling back or looking confused, you look her dead in the eye and state, "Good. That's beautiful. I can handle that. I'll take you there." You pass the test. But if she feels judgment, even if it's just a micro expression of discomfort, or if there's nervous laughter because you're surprised, she feels judged and the box slams shut. Maybe forever. But if you don't react and simply cast a masculine gaze upon her and invite her shadow, in that exact moment, the mask drops. The persona surrenders to her authentic self. She realizes she doesn't have to hide from you. And when Pandora's box fully opens, the energy that is released is blinding. The vanilla routine vanishes. It's replaced by a feral, authentic, soul-bonding intimacy most men only fantasize about. She stops performing for you, she starts surrendering to you, and she begins feasting with you. This is the ultimate retention strategy. Men constantly ask, how do I keep a woman interested long term? This is how. When you are the man who opens her Pandora's box, you become a biological addiction she can't quit. Why? Because to leave you means putting the mask back on. To be with another man means going back into hiding. You become the absolute standard by which she judges all other men. And compared to the total freedom she feels with you, every other man feels like a cage. If you feel like your woman is holding back, she is. Trust your instincts. But most likely, it's not because she lacks desire, but because you haven't engineered an environment dangerous enough and safe enough for her to release it. A warning. Opening Pandora's box is not a pickup artist parlor trick. It's a massive psychological responsibility. When a woman hands you her soul, her shadow, you hold it in your hands. Don't abuse it. Don't weaponize it. If you violate that trust, the box slams shut and it never opens again. But if you honor it, if you can hold that fire, you will access a dynamic that most men believe is a myth. It's not a myth, but it is mythic. A woman's sexuality fully unleashed can be literally mind-blowing. If this is something you haven't experienced, no one can help you understand by explaining. It's something you must experience to understand. But there is one final obstacle. Even if you create a balance of safety and danger, most modern women are plagued by a curse. The curse of the busy mind. She wants to surrender, but her analytical brain won't shut down. The laundry, the kids, her body image, the emails. The inner critic stands as the final guard at the gate. To fully unleash Pandora's box and all the beautiful chaos and primal energy that lives there, you need one final protocol. You must know how to take her analytical brain offline. You must force her out of her head and into her body. I'm going to break down exactly how to execute that in the next video. I'm David. I won't ask you to subscribe, like, or comment. If you're a man of action, you'll do what you think you should do. If you're not, you won't. I'll see you in the next video.